and welcome to Chapter 2 Club, the women's guide to divorce and everything after. Today, I'm here with San Diego Realtors, Tammy Dean and Tammy Krug of the web series show Moving On. They have a real estate concierge service that helps women to achieve their home ownership dreams. And Tammy Dean also has the RCSD designation, which is a real estate collaboration specialist for divorce. And today, we're going to be discussing top things to look for when hiring a contractor. Welcome, Tammy and Tammy.
Oh gosh, hi, nice to see you again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about remodeling a home, finding a contractor, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so that's one of our actual specialties with Moving On the series. You know, a lot of times, especially prior to the pandemic, and even more so during the last 2 or 3 years, you know, we have had clients who come to us and say, oh my gosh, you know, with the market being so crazy, we really just want to get a fixer. And, you know, is that even possible? If so, gosh, is that going to cost me a lot of money, et cetera? And we actually, with Moving On the series, you know, with the concierge service that we do have the ability and access to general contractors, landscape artists, pool, what's the word I'm looking for?
Construction.
Pool guys, there you go, pool guys, you know, design. We have access to all of that on our website at wholesale rates. So the clients that we come across say, we really do want a fixer, and here's why. They want to make it their own, right? So one of the biggest things that we pay attention to when we're showing homes, and Tammy's actually going through this right now with one of the listings that she's got that's going to hit the market in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We look for fixers, right? Because A, you can get a really good deal on them, okay? B, as long as the bones are good, and in this business, we refer to them as grandma's house, right? Yep. Because grandma took really good care of it. The bones are really good. Yeah, the wallpaper might be yellow sunflowers, but whatever, we can replace that. That's all doable, right? Cosmetic. Yes. So we look for those fixers because we can make it their own based on their finishes, their touches, etc. So I would say that some of the tips that I would suggest is A, make sure the bones are good. Yeah. Right. That's number one. And it can be in an area that is highly desirable. And you always, you know, a client wants to live in a certain area and, oh my gosh, it's my dream to live in Poway or wherever it might be. But the home isn't really in good condition. Yes, we want that. We want that, because that gives us an opportunity to negotiate the price, because it might be in disrepair, which we can fix that because we have access to that. So the first thing I would say is look for a home that, yes, is a fixer. Or whether it's major fixing, mild, or, you know, very little to none, regardless, we can work on that to make it their own. And secondly, I would definitely think about accessibility, right? When you're remodeling, are you close to everything that you want to be close to? Schools.
Right. And then also a really good thing to do is if you like a particular home, you need to get a contractor in there probably before you even write an offer to give you an idea of what it might cost. Yeah. Because you don't want to buy a $600,000 home and then have to put $300,000 in it when your budget's only $700,000, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's a good idea to get someone, and Tammy has contacts for that, to get someone out there just to look at it, to say, oh, you know what, I don't know, this might be a little bit more than, you know, what you were thinking. Because we think differently. We don't know what this and this and this costs, you know. We're not the professionals on that side. So getting someone in there prior to writing the offer is a really darn good idea.
Yeah, and we typically encourage that when we're doing the initial walkthrough, when we're previewing the home. Then if we submit the offer and the offer is accepted, the first thing that we book obviously is the home inspection. And then in that timeline as well, I will have a contractor walk the property with us and do a wish list for the client so they can get a running budget in their head. Of course, that's refined as we go along, right? And everything's done in stages. So also, besides, you know, finding a fixer, you know, and hiring a contractor that you can trust, make sure it's someone that will work with you. In other words, if you're looking to do a remodel, don't feel pressure that you have to do all of it at one time, because you don't. With us, you can do things in stages. So let's say they move in, escrow's closed, and they move in and they vibe with the home and they like, oh my gosh, I want to get the kitchen done first. Okay, boom, they call us, we get the kitchen done. They still have that opportunity for the wholesale rates, get the kitchen done. 5 months later, let's do the bathroom. So they can do things in stages. So don't feel overwhelmed. So find a fixer, find a great contractor that you know is reputable, check out their references, make sure they're available to do a walkthrough and give you a budget, and then actually do the walkthrough so you can have a running budget work on your timeline. Work on your timeline. And also make sure to it that if there are certain looks that you like, Pinterest is your friend. Pinterest, Etsy, all of them is your friend. Screenshot, style that you like for a home or what have you, and provide that to us so that we can mirror it. I will say this. If they have a budget of 100,000 and we're good with that, we get them a budget that's slightly underneath that, I will guarantee 99.9% of the time, if not 100% of the time, as we're going through the build out phase, the wife inevitably will say, oh my gosh, I found this finish and I want it. And it bumps it right up because it's much prettier than the initial. So take that into consideration.
We call that put a pad on it.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you don't, we're going to go over. So just remember that.
And then they wonder, why'd we go over? Well, I'll tell you why we went over. Initially, we started with a budget of $3,000 for the kitchen, and now you like these finishes. So now we're at $6,000. That's where it is, right? So just really be mindful of those things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember when I got my place a couple years ago, there were so many things I wanted to do with it, but I just didn't have the budget. So I just did the floors and the paint, and then I lived in it. It's really hard to do, because you want to do so many things, especially if you came from, a nicer place and you got divorced and then you're downsizing, to not as nice of a place. But I did the bare minimum, and then I lived in it for, a year. And then, when you consume your time in there for a year, then you kind of get used to it, and then you appreciate it. And you may not, need to do those other things you wanted to do. So, yeah.
You can make it your own just by furnishings and paint.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing what you can do with just that. And I like to make people know that as well, because my place, when I moved into it, carpet needed all kinds of stuff. You know what? I got new flooring and I painted and I did some light fixtures. That's all I did. And furnishings, and that's it. I didn't do new cabinets. I didn't do new countertops. So there's a lot that you can do inexpensively per se.
Yes. And keep in mind when an individual is going through divorce, and again, this could be male or female, but when women especially are keeping the house, and they got the house and the settlement and what have you, they want a fresh start. And that's part of why we created Moving On the series. It's about really starting a new chapter of your life. And if you're staying in that home, with that comes the memories of the family. With that comes where your children were raised. With that comes all the wonderful milestones that took place in their house. And they feel like, I need a change of scenery, but don't want to sell. Completely do a remodel at your timeline, freshen it up to the way you want it. And before you know it, you're surrounded by something entirely new, which then affects their disposition and their mental outlook.
Right.
Love it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. This is wonderful information. You can find more information on our website at chapter2club.com. And I will put links to Tammy's website as well, and to their information. And it was a pleasure to have you both on, and we will all see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.